What is up, everybody? Solomon here. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. What is there even to say here? Yeah, looking across this space since mid-November has been wild. Taking a look kind of through coin market cap right now, and there seems to have been, I guess, a shift. Um, I would say that it kind of started sparking around some of the election stuff. Um, so beginning of November, and we kind of started to see this uptick in, let's say, U.S. based blockchain slash crypto companies, um, and then kind of transitioning into kind of the utility based network stuff as well, which has just been wild to witness. I mean, I looked just for shits and giggles today at kind of the first YouTube video that I made, and I mean, we're going all the way back to January 2nd, 2020. That was Identity Runs on Ripple. It was the first kind of deep divey type content that I did. And man, what a journey. So almost 5 years of XRP content. The first interview that I ever did in crypto was with Christian Hasker, former CMO within Hedera. I think that had to have been probably 2020 timeframe as well. And this journey has just been wild to witness. So for those of you guys that aren't aware, which I'm sure almost everybody is, XRP hitting a $150 billion market cap plus today. It's probably still sitting at the number 3 spot, catapulting tons of stuff. And this has been wild to witness. I mean, we did not see this during the last cycle. Yeah, we saw an uptick, but if you look at kind of March of 2020, let's say where the bottom was, all the way to, let's say, April of 2021, I mean, you're talking almost a year, right? And then, for actual notable price action, let's say, we kind of really started here, let's say January timeframe, and it lasted, a handful of months, but this is if I pull XRP's specific kind of chart up, I mean, you're looking at just 1 month basically, because here's December and we are just literally in the beginning of December right now. So this is kind of wild to witness, and this isn't just XRP. Obviously, I can see something similar if you pull up HBAR, and yeah. HBAR catapulting up into the top 20. Not sure exactly where it's sitting at right now. Probably 19 or 17 right now. HBAR, across the board with all these kind of utility-based networks and assets just breaking records. HBAR above a $10 billion market cap now, sitting at 11. This 24-hour volume is certainly a record, 5 billion plus. And this has just been wild to witness, guys. Stellar, I think, had like a 400+% run over in November, which was wild to watch. And you can see XRP up here, obviously, number 3 again. So, I would say of all the communities throughout crypto that have had to deal with the most crap throughout the years, certainly the XRP community, given the lawsuit and then just everything, it's just super awesome to kind of see what XRP has done, and then the cascade effect throughout all these other networks as well. There was a guy that tweeted about this was maybe like 3 weeks ago, which I'm not saying this was the catalyst, but just interesting. But there was a guy that tweeted like, why are all these shitty dino coins popping up on my feed? And this is like a younger kid, certainly has the right to his opinion, but you can just tell based on the context of the tweet that he's not maybe he hasn't done the digging into kind of the back end of this stuff, all of the actual like research into real world adoption that certainly is coming, if not here. I mean, when the BlackRocks and Franklin Templetons and all these institutions of the world are leveraging crypto products, the cat's kind of out of the bag, right? But even just Ripple as an example, like all the research into Ripple for years and the XRP ledger and XRP and what Ripple's goals were as a company and what the XRP ledger facilitated from utility standpoint and the integrations and the trials and everything else, just from the banking standpoint alone is absolutely massive. And then I can think about like Hedera and all the work that I've been doing through Genfinity with not only Hedera, but we've interviewed David Schwartz and just countless ecosystems and stuff. There's just so much that has been built in the past handful of years. So many integrations, like real world integrations, that are massive, and it's changing the entire game. I mean, the entire financial, not even financial, but the entire infrastructure of everything that we do is going to shift towards blockchain eventually. I'm not saying that's happening right now, certainly in process, but you talk about validation of this stuff. So when the guy posted the Dino Coins thing, it's like, yeah, but at the end of the day, like however this new system integrates with kind of the old system, it's going to be built on networks that can be trusted. The technology can be trusted. They know that it works. All the other kind of things. And what's interesting about this is like you look at kind of what's happened over the past few weeks, all these assets that ran, they are all the assets that have been here, that have had the integrations, that have been tested, that have been trialed. I saw XDC was running. I saw DAG and Constellation, XLM and Stellar, Algorand, XRP, Hedera. I know that, it wasn't a popular thing, but Quant, which we've talked about tons of times on this channel, Quant left Twitter and everybody's like, and I'm not saying this is a smart marketing decision from Quant's standpoint, but at the end of the day, like if they consider their target market to not be retail, I mean, that's their decision entirely. And then you even see Quant kind of running, and Quant's, earlier in 2024 had integration within or the whole regulated liability network out of the UK and Europe. Kind of the backbone of that is the Overledger stuff with Quant, which is like massive real world adoption. Hedera just is the first layer one to literally donate all of their open, like the entirety of the network's code base, like so the entire code base of the network transitioning over into the Linux Foundation under LF Decentralized Trust. There's just been, I could talk for, I could probably do a 24-hour recorded video just on all the stuff with Ripple, all the stuff with Hedera that I've seen, and even all the interviews and all this stuff with the work that we've done out of XDC and LF0 from the privacy standpoint. Back when Darren and I used to do the XX network stuff, and they have the Bank for International Settlement stuff going on behind the scenes with which one of the central banks. So I don't know. Also don't want to neglect to talk about the retail stuff that sparks all of this, because yeah, there's enterprise integration and real world adoption, but huge shout out to the XRP Cafe / First Ledger team on the XRPL, Adam and Sloppy and all those guys from First Ledger. Vet, I don't know if Vet has anything to do with First Ledger. I know he has stuff to do with Cafe. But I mean, if you were paying attention on the XRP from the XRP standpoint, and I know I don't do a ton of these videos anymore, any of this stuff, but I try to pay attention on Twitter as much as possible. Those guys were smashing records on the XRP ledger, like right after First Ledger launched. From a wallet creation standpoint, from a transaction standpoint, the automated market maker stuff on the XRPL, First Ledger broke all those records. It was easily within the first 2 weeks. Might have been earlier than that. I saw a post yesterday morning that they had 20 I think yesterday they were 13th biggest DEX out of all of crypto. If they're considered a DEX, like $20 million over a 24-hour period, 5,000 wallets within a day. So make no mistake about it, the retail built platforms, regardless of what you think about memes or any of that stuff, they have moved the needle. And a lot of the, I don't know. It's just wild to witness, because at the end of the day, I mean, we've literally been talking about this space forever. We put out an article about the rise of the Dino coins on November 27th. And I mean, it literally, maybe that post is in here. Maybe not. Yeah, somebody said DREC super cycle. So obviously you have, DREC, for those that aren't aware, Decentralized Recovery Alliance. DREC started with Lehman from Hedera. Kind of think of it as a way to decentralize and abstract away complexity within custodianship of your private key, right? So it started with Lehman. They brought on Algorand as the first founding member. And now they have, Casper, Constellation, XRP, Algorand, Hedera, Cardano, a lot of entities within these ecosystems. And somebody posted DREC Supercycle, which I thought was kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, outside of this, I mean, one thing that I don't know. I'm assuming, and I put out a post, I'm hoping that this is kind of the foundations for where we see this space go in the future. As far as the XRP and Ripple videos, look, I don't know how much more I could possibly deep dive into that stuff. I mean, there's so much stuff still going on, but I know that I don't make as many videos anymore. I've been thinking about, if I were to come back and do videos, what would I do? But people don't realize that, those videos, the actual deep dives, not just, reading stuff, those took, I mean, sometimes days of research. And if I didn't find anything, I just wouldn't make a video. But at this point, especially since we, there will always be stuff to find, but hopefully we get some clarity in the United States, and there's support for companies that want to innovate kind of and build their foundations out in the US. And hopefully this stuff is just like, much less behind the scenes and much less behind the scenes. Not as many proof of concepts, but actual real world integrations of the tech, which I think is what we've started to see over the past, let's say 12 to 18 months anyways. I mean, the tokenization aspects, like, of real world assets. I mean, that's not a narrative, that's really happening. I know I've showed you guys this before, I think, but if you've never been to rwa.xyz, this site's pretty fascinating, and you can literally take a look through just how early we are as far as tokenized real world assets on chain. So you can go back to, 2021 in July, and you're looking at $689 million, right? And even go back, let's say 2020, 82 million bucks in 2020 July of tokenized real world assets on chain, 681 million a year later, 300 million the next year, 11 billion this year. Does that look like a trend that's going to slow down as far as real world assets coming on chain? And you think about democratizing access into some of these assets, a lot of these real world assets. And I think sometimes we think about traditional financial products, but I think about real world assets even as like the data that you and I generate on a daily basis. A lot of these real world assets are, look at XTC for an example, like, and access to finance, like from the trade finance standpoint. A lot of this stuff, it gets liquefied. A lot of this stuff comes on chain. A lot of this stuff gets streamlined. I don't look at this space as a one ecosystem to rule them all. You can look at, I mean, think about what was it, multi-hop or whatever with on-demand liquidity back in the day. I kind of think of these real world assets on chain when they get traded and whatever else, like, I think of them kind of pathfinding themselves towards liquidity and all the other things that are needed between different networks, and interoperability kind of being seamless over time. And this chart right here, though, this is going to look like look like basically Bitcoin in 2009, 5 years from now, 7 years from now. Looks super like it's almost a parabolic peak right now, but you're not even going to be able to see the upturn. It's going to look like nothing. So I don't know. It's just interesting to watch. It's interesting to have kind of been on this journey multiple years. Huge fan of everything in this space, because it all kind of adds additional cogs in the wheel. Some of them are, bad lessons to be learned, but I look at them as kind of like maturing phases of this space. No matter what they are, you're going to make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes in this space, but at the end of the day, it's awesome to see some validation for XRP, HBAR, which both of them I think were the biggest gainers over the past 24 hours out of probably the top 100, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, Hedera's up 117% over the past 7 days. XRP up 94%. And it's wild to watch that like these kind of assets are the ones that are running, because these are the ones that literally, I mean, you can imagine how much work for over 5 years. I mean, 5 years ago was the first time I probably made a video, but I'd say 6 or 7 years of like trying to look into this space, and then providing content, and then interviewing so many people, like hundreds. I had something pop up on my feed, maybe it was like a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, that said like, congratulations, you have your 250th podcast or something like that, and that goes all the way from like the smallest NFT artist to, interviewing Dr. Lehman Baird and alongside like John Woods of Algorand, or Jorgensen from Constellation, or, whoever. Darren and I interviewed Tim Draper like 5 months ago, which was like wild. So yeah, extreme greed right now. That's the one thing that I'm like looking at. I'm like, I hope that this, whatever this rally is, continues. And I'm assuming it will for a little while, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's just awesome to see. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch where this space goes. I know that not a lot of people are a fan of the 4-year cycle aspect theory, and I certainly still am until it doesn't happen. I actually did like a crazy long study. This was maybe in late 2021 to try to catch the bottom in 2022, which I kind of did. It wasn't just based on time, but I did like percent drawdowns from moving averages and all sorts of stuff. I think November of 2022, and then I want to say June of 2022, I kind of caught wherever the space was at that time and made some decisions. But this same kind of study pulled us out to March/April of next year, or potential September to October. Obviously, it's not just based on time. I mean, but this is like tying in some other stuff. But I would recommend, obviously, your price target stuff. Don't worry about this fib. It's probably not even right. But I don't know. I mean, this, to me, I just, I wanted to do a video today, and I don't normally feel comfortable doing videos, which is why I don't do them. My anxiety just gets too high. It's a lot of nonsense. But I thought today I would definitely do one, because it's awesome to see what's happening with XRP. The XRP community certainly deserves it. Awesome to see what's happening with any of the other utility assets that started kind of running. Certainly Hedera and HBAR, XDC, everybody. I'll miss names if I start naming people or networks, but yeah, pretty cool to see. And that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you when I talk to you. Thanks. Bye.